These testimonials are representative of my or our experiences, but the exact results and experience will be unique and individual to each person. The information provided herein is not medical advice and is not intended to substitute for the advice of your personal physician or other healthcare providers. Welcome to The Beautiful Bag. This is your host, LeeAnne Hayden, cancer survivor, and more importantly, ostomy lifer. Each and every week, I'm going to be bringing a special guest or some inspiration for you and a few little stories along the way so that you can learn what life is like for us to be living in an ostomy and why we all think it's a beautiful bag. So listen in and let's get started. Good morning. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's The Beautiful Bag podcast. I am your host, LeeAnne Hayden, and it is so great to have you here again this week. So this week is going to be a solo episode with me because, guys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, this podcast, the Beautiful Bag podcast, is now officially into its 4th year. Can you believe it? I can't believe it. With all of the people that I have interviewed over the last 3, now going into 4 years, I have learned so much. And I hope you have too. And I really appreciate you all for listening in every single week. And I hope that you find these stories inspiring and that you get something from it, right? We tell the real, we talk about the truth, the good, the bad, the ugly, all the things. But in the end, no matter what we're going through, we are here. We're survivors and we are thriving in our lives regardless of the obstacles and sometimes the pain and the things that we have to go through. I'll tell you, we are one tough crew. And I am so glad to have you here with me today. And I'm actually so glad to have you here in this community. Seriously, I'm starting to think I should build something so that we can have an online presence just together for any of us that listen to the Beautiful Bag podcast. So now that I said that out loud, I think I may be up to something. Anyways, so this week, yes, Beautiful Bag turned 4. We are in our 4th year. And guys, it is rated now the #1 podcast for ostomates. And surprisingly, I got an email, it also is number 22 in the world for people surviving cancer, for cancer podcasts. I couldn't believe it when I heard that or when I got the email on that. So thank you again for making this podcast so meaningful, so meaningful. It really, I appreciate it. So another thing that happened this week, if you're listening to it today, is January 17th. But on Monday, January 15th, was my 8th year anniversary of having my stoma and surviving cancer, right? So I celebrated big out online. So if you're on Facebook or if you're on Instagram, and even on TikTok, go follow me over there. Let's connect over there. And like I said, I just said something about creating community and I think this came out of my mouth. So I think I may be having to do something with that, like I said. Okay, so anyways, my stoma is now 8 years old and it feels like yesterday and it feels like decades ago. I don't know if you guys feel that same way. I think it's because I've been through so much over the last 8 years. My life has completely changed from what it was prior. And it changed in such a great way, meaning since having my surgery, and you guys know why I am in my ostomy, but since having my surgery, at the time of it, I was working in the direct sales industry, right? I was working with Tyra Banks and her cosmetics line. I also had a health and wellness business that I had built prior to that I still had. So I had those things and I was working in that field. And it was always this like a lion, having to get things done and chasing these goals and having these big aspirations and dreams and just running for it. And I remember when I got the cancer, it was almost like I got put on hold for a while I went through, the process of all that. And then as soon as I had my ostomy, the first thing I did was, all right, I've got work to do. God left me here for a reason. So I need to go and do something. And so that's when everything just started to explode for me, meaning I went and did my first Facebook Live and I shared the experience of what I had just went through. And guys, you know that I used to be a fitness competitor. I started doing fitness competitions when I was in my late 30s, turning 40, because I wanted to do it before I turned 40. For some reason, I thought that was an old age. Now at 53, I'm like, yeah, not so much. We're still young. But, it was such that I did the competitions. I did all that stuff. It was like a lion, like I had to have something done, like I had to accomplish all these things. And then having the cancer, slowing down, and then getting my ostomy and saying, okay, I need to get back to work. I need to get back to growing big. I need to get back to doing even more. And from that time, that is where, you know, I went right to jumping on a plane a week after my surgery, as you know, and I do not recommend that. I do not recommend it, but I did it. And it's the perseverance. It's my personality. It's what I do. But I flew to California. I met with Tyra. I started to grow my business. It was really going well. And then a year later, a year after all of that, she decided to close the doors. And it was almost as if my life said, this is not the path I'm supposed to be on, right? This is not the aggression that I'm supposed to have. And I think that, that's when like I was just saying, I turned on Facebook Live probably a week or 2 weeks after, 2 weeks after I got back, or 2 weeks after my surgery, and shared my story on a Facebook Live. And that was when Facebook Live was in the beginning. And what I was saying in that live was how, even though when I did fitness competitions, because I had a big poster of what I looked like prior behind me in a bikini up on stage, and it was that even though I looked the best I could have looked at that time in my life, I mean, people who get on stages and look the way that we did, or in that 1% of the way we look, and I'm putting that in quotes. It's not a healthy body, it's the way we look. And I didn't appreciate the person. I didn't appreciate my body. I still, in my mind during that time, when I was fit and healthy and all those things, I didn't appreciate who I was. I didn't appreciate the work that I did. I didn't appreciate the body that I had. And then after, fast forward, 6, 7 years later, now I have my cancer, I'm in my surgery, I'm in my stoma, and I'm looking at myself in the mirror and I'm reflecting back to the girl who had done those competitions, who didn't appreciate her body and didn't appreciate the work that she had done, even though I looked great. I have to say that. It's not to pat myself on the back. It's a lot of hard work, but I did look fantastic. I didn't appreciate her. And now I'm looking at my body, a few years older, now with an ostomy bag hanging off my stomach. And in that moment, in that second, I knew that I had to love myself and love myself fast and appreciate the body that I stood in and be grateful for it and be grateful for all that it had done for me. I knew I had to do that quickly, because if not, I could have spiraled down the whole why me? And we know people who do that, who spiral down. Why me? Why did this happen to me? This isn't fair. And mind you, I did have those moments in a temper tantrum type of a way, and I allowed myself to grieve and I allowed myself to feel those moments. But then it was like, okay, I'm giving myself 30 minutes or an hour, or you know what? The whole dang day to stamp my feet, yell, scream, cry, whatever the emotion was, to get it out. So I didn't suppress it all, to get it out. But then I knew when I was done with that, I needed to turn around and say, okay, I'm here for a reason. I'm here for a purpose. It's something bigger. than what I thought life was like before. And so I knew I had to look in that mirror and I had to tell myself that I love myself. So there's some things that I would do, and maybe this will help you. Maybe you're in that place where you're not appreciating your body or you're going through some struggles now, right? Because sometimes, guys, I mean, I did a podcast a few weeks ago about having a blockage, being in the hospital. I know many of us are in the hospital with blockages, or you're suffering from Crohn's and colitis, um, really Crohn's, right? If you have your large intestine out with colitis, but you're suffering from Crohn's and you're constantly still, you're not cured yet. But you may be in remission or you may be struggling. I just want you to do I'm telling you this so that there are some things that you can do to truly help yourself get out of a funk when we feel like we're in the funks. The first thing I want to tell you is we have to allow ourselves the moments to grieve. We have to allow ourselves that. We don't have to be strong and muscle through it and not cry and that's it. We have to allow our body and our nervous system. Our body has gone through a lot, and we've got to allow it the time to grieve. However, we can't stay there. You can't stay in that moment. Okay. So, some things that can help you, that hopefully can help you because they helped me, is one, I journal. Every morning I wake up, I grab my book. You guys know my faith. You know my faith. So I write to God every morning, right? That's me, that's my faith, and that's who I write to, who I journal to, like how my feelings are, what my expectations are, what I want in this life, what I went through yesterday, how all the things, whatever's on my mind, whatever's coming up, I write it. There was a story that I was reading a while ago, and it was Dear Ellen. Actually, it was a movie. It was the movie. It was oh, you guys will know that. The Crowbirds, where the Crowbirds sing. It's a new movie, but it's an older book, right? Few years ago. Um, I think that's the name of the movie. That's what's coming to my head. Anyways, she would write Dear Ellen. No, it couldn't have been that movie. Anyways, there was a movie I watched, and she would write to Ellen, right? Dear Ellen. And she would write to Ellen and tell Ellen all the stories, all the things. So no, it definitely couldn't have been that movie. So she was writing to Ellen like all these things of what's going on in life and da 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 and what she wants. So write to someone, right? I write to God because to me, he's my father. He's who I want to write to. To you, you can write to anyone. Make up a name, tell a story, get it out and write it. There's something to be said, and they talk about this. There's something to be said when you take something that is sitting in your brain and you put it to paper. It's almost as if it takes it out of your thoughts. It takes it out of your thoughts and takes it away. Okay. Um, and so and again, there's huge studies on this. When you put it to paper, it doesn't make it mean anything more. It just gets it out of your head. Okay. So I would recommend grabbing a journal first thing, grab your coffee, grab a journal, sit down. And I know mornings are usually extremely busy. So set your alarm just a little bit earlier and say, you know what? I need a half an hour with my coffee and I'm just going to write. Grab a journal and just write how you're feeling, write what's going on, write if you're sad, write if you're mad, write if you're happy, write all the things that are coming to your head. Don't worry about what it is. Don't worry about if it makes sense. No one's reading it but you. This is for you to get it out of your head and onto paper. So that way it doesn't sit there. So that's one of the things that I do, and I do it every single day. Another thing that I have done, okay, that's the one thing I do every single day and I still do it. Another thing that I do is I haven't done it for a little bit, but I do meditate. I used to do it daily, 20 minutes a day. Now, if I do it for 5 minutes a day, I'm happy. If I miss a day, don't get hard on myself about missing a day. But sometimes after I journal everything and get everything out, I'll sit down, I'll set a little timer on my phone, even if it's just 5 minutes, so that it dings for me when the 5 minutes is up. And I just meditate. Now, people think meditation, I can't shut my mind down. Believe me, I know this brain of mine goes off all the time. So I sit down and I will say a mantra and over in my head. Now, a mantra it can be, I am grateful. and just saying something like, I am grateful over and over and over again. I am happy. I love my body. I thank, I'm grateful for my ostomy, for my stoma. It saved my life. I am grateful for my stoma. I am grateful for my life. Whatever it is, it can be something very simple like that. The one that I use a lot is so hum. Now, so hum means I am. So when I'm breathing in, I say so in my head. And when I'm breathing out, I say so hum. I say hum when I'm breathing out, right? So hum. And it's very calming and it's peaceful and it means I am. And so I will do that. Now, when you're meditating, know this. Thoughts are going to come through. You're going to be meditating and be like, oh, I should be meditating. I got to get ready for work, da, 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 right? Or, oh, I got the grocery list. Oh, I forgot I got to add butter to the grocery list. Or the kids need me for this. Or and all that stuff's going to come to your head. When it does, acknowledge that it's there. Be like, oh, I'm thinking. And then just go back to saying your mantra. So or I love my body, or I am grateful. Whatever you decide to use as your mantra, do it even for 5 minutes. It can reset your nervous system. It can settle you in for your day, even 5 minutes. Okay. So that I would challenge you to practice that. Another thing that I have done in the past is I will, and we talked about this last week when I had Sarah, our guest, on last week. If you haven't listened to her podcast, go back and listen to it. We talked about this, and she was talking about this woman who she had followed and on social media, and this woman will walk around her house naked. Right. When she's home alone, she walks around her house naked. She walks by mirrors naked. She'll stand there. She'll look at herself absolutely naked, and she'll tell her body how much she appreciates her body. And it's just getting very comfortable with who you are. Now, walking around your house might not be your thing, right? Walking around naked might not be your thing. You might have children and other people around where you can't do that. Totally understandable. However, what you can do is when you get out of the shower, wipe off the steam on that mirror. Don't wrap yourself in a towel. You're in the bathroom by yourself. Take a few minutes to stand there and look at your body. And when you look at your body, if tears come, they come. But I want you to say out loud, I love you to yourself, looking at your body. I love you until, and you definitely will cry. Even you big burly men, you know who I'm talking to, you will probably tear up and cry, right? One of the biggest things that we need to do is we need to love our bodies. We need to look at ourselves and we need to appreciate who we are, men and women alike, especially us with our ostomies. I mean, I used to have women do this when I was coaching competitors back in the day, right? Or when I was health coaching people back in the day, because I did that. When I would have them look at themselves naked in the mirror and say, I love you. Looking at yourself in the face, looking at your body, I love you. Say it 10 times and do it every day. And I'll tell you, you are going to end up appreciating your body. You're going to rewire those thoughts in your head that think that you're not good enough, or that think that, you know, why me? Right? Those thoughts, they will stop coming so much. Okay. So I really, truly want you to try that. Um, those are some of the things that I have done over the years, some of the things that I still do. I still look in that mirror. I still have to remind myself all the time, right? Because my body at 53 is not like it was at even 44, 45 when I ended up in my ostomy 8 years later, right? My body is different than it was years ago. My face, guys, listen, I'm aging, right? I'm 53 years old. I'm getting wrinkles, right? I have wrinkles, all the things, right? Things aren't the way they used to be. And it's okay. It's okay, right? It's part of life. And I need to remind myself all the time that I love myself, that I am beautiful, that I am strong, that I am courageous, that I am a survivor. Guys, take some of these and write them down and look at yourself in the mirror. Put post-it notes on your mirror if you need to remind yourself of who you are. Okay. You are all beautiful, wonderful people. And yes, we have been through the ringer. However, we're still here. And I think together we're going to make a huge impact in this world. Okay. So those are some of the things that I want you to do. I would recommend that you do. Please, please tell me how it goes. I want you to reach out to me on social media. Send me a message. Go to the website. You can go to leeannehayden.com. You can connect with me there, right? Also, I have a couple of freebies on the website for you too. Either one, you can buy one. You can buy one. They're free. You can sign up for one or you can sign up for both. One is confidence building affirmations for ostomates only. So in there, I have affirmations for anyone who's an ostomate that you can use in your meditations, that you can use as post-it notes, that you can use as reminders for yourself. So you can go ahead and sign up for that and download that. And then the second one that I just did, because it's a new year, right? We're in January, was a wellness, embracing wellness guide that you can also download as well. So you can sign up for both of those and yeah, and get some of that information and really start to work on some things for yourself for this new year. All right, guys. So now I am going to have to let you go because I am currently in Virginia right now. It's another story for another, I can tell you a little bit. It took me 48 hours to get to Virginia from New Hampshire because of flight cancellations and delays, but I am here in Virginia because I am going to go speak with the associates at Hollister's manufacturing company, so or manufacturing plant here in Virginia. So I am on my way to do that today, but I wanted to take a moment and to say hello, good morning, give you some pieces of things to work on with yourself. Guys, remind you of who you are. You are all, like I said, you are all beautiful, you're strong, you're courageous, and a survivor. Okay, so head on over to the website, download yourself those freebies, and let's do some work together. Okay, and I will be talking with you again next week. Have a wonderful one, everybody.